Greetings, friends. Today we're going to deal with Matt's problem. Hi, Matt. Can you tell us what happened to you?
It all started when I was in my early 20s, finishing medical school. Once I went to a casino with my classmates and it was on and on, hooked quite tightly. I didn't realize it, although the first acute situation had already happened then. So I lost some money my parents had given me for my graduation suit. I don't remember how I got out of it, although that was still flowers compared to what started later when I moved to Moscow. I worked as a waiter and played almost every day. It used to happen that I had 20,000 at home. I took 3 of them, went to play Lost, grabbed a cab, went home, took another 3,000, lost them again, went home again, and so on and so forth until I lost every penny. And if I win, I can't get home. I want to go somewhere else to play. And when I gambled, it was like I was in some other world and it was spinning around me. I played in expensive casinos. I had gold cards everywhere. They let me in for free. I would go there after work and I would take my friends with me and we would be fed and fed. We would have a feast. Everyone would go out and have fun. And I would feel like an oligarch, as if everything is in my power. I'm the king. But in fact, I was like a drug addict who had taken a dose and could not do without it. When I was in a gambling state, I had only one thought in my head, where to get more money to go back to the casino. I was saved by the fact that I did not live from paycheck to paycheck. I could earn up to 20,000 a day. So today I lost. Tomorrow I have money in my pocket again. But even that wasn't enough. I borrowed all the time. I took out loans. And then at some point my debts reached $1 million. I remember the moment came when there was no one to borrow from and I had to pay my rent. I was not most COVID. I was renting. I left the casino, stood at the bus stop and just cried, not knowing what to do. No money, no housing, goodbye. And I literally thought about whether I should sell myself because there was nothing else to do. That time it worked at, my friends let me live there. But in general, there were no boundaries for me. I just needed to get money to keep playing. Fortunately, I never got to the point of desperation to rob or kill someone, but I could take money from neighbors, from my sister, steal, to be honest. Conscience, guilt, it's not about the gambler. You get a toughness. You do not think about what is happening to you. On the contrary, you do everything to escape from reality. You're just a robot. Everything that's not about the game doesn't matter. I had no personal life and I couldn't have one. I would tolerate someone like that around. I had a degree from medical school, but I didn't even think about a career. Sometimes I thought about suicide, but I love myself too much to kill myself. The breaking point was when I had to borrow money from my parents. The thing is, I started living on my own very early. My parents didn't even realize I was acting out. I just said I needed money. It wasn't much by my standard, 60,000, but that was all my mom had saved up in her whole life. And she gave it to me. Then I realized that I had left the person I loved with nothing. Just at that time, the casino started handing out invitations to psychotherapy groups to get rid of gambling addiction. So I decided to go. What happened in the group reminded me of the 12-step program for alcoholics, which I had seen in American movies. We also came in such. I am such an Emma gambler. I haven't played for so many days. There were 10 of us. 4 psychologists worked with us. They had different tactics. For example, the woman was soft and kind, pitying us. I was rather repulsed by it. And the man was tough, provocative. It suited me better. We didn't talk about playing in the group. It was taboo. We talked about ourselves, about what was going on in our lives, what made us nervous, what frightened us, in short, about our experiences. And everyone kept a diary to understand how we felt, what we liked and disliked about ourselves and our lives, to understand why we were addicted. Basically, we were all unhappy. Many of us were lonely, and the game allowed us to hide from these problems. 3 basic rules for addicts were explained on this. I said, don't be lonely, don't be hungry, don't be angry. If these are not followed, it's easy to snap. Everyone had a mentor to call and talk to if they wanted to go out and play. I still have all these notes on my desk. The psychotherapy lasted for a month and a half. Then I still came from time to time to the groups of anonymous players, which are organized by those who manage to cure themselves. In fact, there are no ex-gamblers, just like there are no ex-alcoholics. So I haven't gambled in over 5 years. That doesn't mean that by being free of addiction, I'm automatically happy. It doesn't work that way. For the first few years, I didn't experience any positive emotions at all. I'm walking in the park, watching the sunrise or watching the sunset, but I don't feel anything special. Traveled all over the world over the years. Well, yes, great, but no rapture. I lack that adrenaline, that crazy action. My life, of course, to change dramatically. First of all, I paid off all my debts and apologized to everyone I had wronged. I told my parents the truth when I went to the group. That's what happened to me and why I was broke. but now everything will get better. As soon as I could, I paid off my mom's debt, bought gifts. I probably could have made a career in a restaurant. I was offered to become a manager, but I decided that it would be more correct to return to medicine. Although, of course, I lost money. I studied for 2 years in residency and have been working as a doctor for 3 years now. In any case, patients recommend me to each other willingly, but I am tormented by doubts. I'm not completely sure that to treat my vocation. Now, the most important thing for me is to understand what I really need in life. I'm thinking about going into sales, and I also have to figure out my personal life. In the group, they explained to us that first you can have a plant, then I'm one pet, then a partner. I haven't gotten any further than the first stage. I've got a flower, I'm watering it, and I don't give up hope.
This story paints a very accurate picture of what happens to people who are addicted to games and how their recovery process works. 3 things are important here. The first and most important thing is to recognize that there is a problem, but you also need to be ready to do something about it. Because sometimes a person recognizes the problem, but does not take any action and waits for it to resolve itself. The second thing is to start rehabilitation and go through it to the end again. It happens that after feeling the first signs of relief, the addict quits psychotherapy. The third is to avoid a breakdown after successful treatment. That, in principle, this scheme applies to all types of addiction. Our task is first to teach the patient how to avoid returning to gambling, and then to help him understand what factors led to and supported addiction. We rely on the natural human desire to be free. No one likes to be addicted, to be a slave, to live with pain, fear, and shame, with self-hatred. If this were not true, we could not help anyone. And that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. See you soon.